Well, good evening, my friends, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman, back out here at my shooting bench doing a little experimenting at 100 yards with this recently acquired Mauser Model 98 customized sporter chambered in the 260 Remington. Now, in the last video I featured this little rifle because I had just recently acquired it, just like I just mentioned, and I shot some rounds that were factory loaded, just factory loaded rounds in two different makes. And then I told you that if I found a load that it performed more accurately with, that I would report that to you. And hopefully I'll be able to keep you updated as to any further developments with this little rifle. I've got a few things that I really like to do to the gun so that I can get it suited to myself and also anyone else in my family that might want to use it for deer hunting. So I got online and did a little research, and the general consensus seems to say that most shooters prefer Hodgdon 4350 for the 260 Remington. It's a great powder because I've used it in the past, and I load my 270 Winchester with it, and I also have a Remington ADL chambered in 243 that really likes this powder. And I've got a 30-06 Remington 700 BDL that really likes 4350 powder, pushing a 165 grain Sierra Game King. So I thought, since I've already got some of this powder on hand, I'll just load up a few rounds and see how well it does. Well, here I've got a target, and you can see here, that was my first shot. I was off to the right quite a ways, so I moved it over several clicks and moved it up, and those were two following shots. And I thought, well, okay, I'll move it over to the right again a few more clicks, and that was three shots right there, two of which are pretty much through the same hole. So I think I've got a pretty good load here for this particular rifle. That's a 2-inch rifle dot, and those three bullets right there, I mean, you can pretty much cover those with a dime, very easily, maybe even a shirt button. So, the little gun is more than capable of producing some fine accuracy. Now, one thing I discovered about this gun the other night when I was cleaning it is that the rate of twist in the barrel is 8.5. That means every 8.5 inches, that bullet is turning one complete revolution. So I should be able to stabilize longer bullets like a 140 grain, even though right now I'm using a 129 grain Hornady SST, and I've always liked the SST bullets. They've just always done really well with anything that I've used them in. So anyway, I've got 42 grains of this H4350 in these loads here. I started with 40 grains and I started to see some promise, but when I went up a couple of grains, the group started tightening up, and that's what I went with. But what I've got down here at 100 yards now is another set of jugs, water jugs, that we're going to shoot one of these SSTs into to see how this bullet performs compared to the last one. In the last video, I used a Nosler all copper bullet, and in this case, these SSTs, they also have this ballistic tip on the front, but yet they have a lead core. So I'm going to try a shot down here at 100 yards, and we'll see how well that particular load performs out of the 260 Remington. Okay, we'll get zoomed in here a little bit on those water jugs down there at 100 yards, and we'll see how well this 129 grain SST will perform at this distance. So here we go. Well, it sounded like I made impact. We'll go check it out here. Okay, I still see some water jugs standing down there. All right, approaching the target. I see a few of them have been knocked off the pedestal here. There's one of them there. That's another one there. Initial impact is quite explosive, as you can see. And let's see. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Went through 4 jugs and entered the 5th one here. Let's see, I think I see a bullet at the bottom, or part of one. Wow, man, that bullet there came apart. There you can see the lead has come out of the jacket. Pretty devastating performance there, but at least we were able to capture the bullet, even though it's not really intact. Well guys, from that little test, I think you could see in comparison how different bullets will perform differently once they strike the target. Here I've got one of the loads that I shot in the last video, and I kept that bullet to make a comparison. And here I've got the SST that I just test fired a minute ago. So let me show you what I've got here on the table. I'll zoom in on that just a little bit. This particular bullet here is an all copper Mauser, and if you didn't see the last video, that's the one I shot into the water jugs at 100 yards, and it formed a nice little mushroom, and it was devastating on the first few jugs. I mean, it just completely blew them up, just like the SST did. And here's that SST, by the way. That's the bullet fully intact. As you can see, it's a boat tail design with this polymer tip on the front, okay? And it's one of their interlock jackets that they employ with the SST, and if you look down inside of that copper jacket, I'll try to zoom in on it, you can see a ring inside there that's supposed to lock that core in place. But you know, sometimes with a really hard hit, that copper jacket just simply cannot hold on to that lead core, because lead is heavier than copper, and there's more resistance with that copper jacket there than there is for the lead, and the lead's going to try and keep going. That's why it slips out of that jacket. Now, quite honestly, those water jugs down there are pretty rough on bullets. I mean, at 100 yards, that bullet there is still traveling 2,600 feet per second or so. You know, it's still cooking along pretty good. So it's going to tear up most of these expanding bullets anyway. And, you know, to be able to peel back those petals there, they're solid copper. I mean, that takes quite a bit of force to be able to do that. But there you can see even that bullet fully mushroomed all the way down to the bottom of the cavity. Now, that doesn't mean that the SST bullet, like I have here, is not a good performer. I can attest to the quality of these bullets because I've used them on game personally, and I've always had absolutely great results. You know, good expansion, good accuracy, and in many cases, the deer that I've shot with them just went a few steps, and that was it. I mean, it was lights out after that. You know, they're very rapid expansion because that polymer tip pushes back and makes that copper jacket open up very reliably. And I would say that in this caliber, any deer out to 400 yards would pretty much be, you know, on the meat pole. So anyway, folks, what I'd like to do to this little rifle next, now that I've found a pretty good load for it, I'll be doing a little bit more experimenting with different bullets and maybe even some different powders. But for now, I know I've got a load that it shoots very well and very reliably. But what I would like to do is install a custom side swing safety like I have on this Mauser 98. This is one I've had for a long time. You've seen this little rifle before. And it's got a Model 70 style side swing safety right there on the side. It's a 2-position safety, but it's very reliable. I mean, this is a real safety right here because it positively blocks the firing pin itself, not just the trigger. You know, it's not a trigger block, it's a firing pin block. And it's always been very reliable for me, you know, and very positive functioning. I've got this same system on my 270 and on a 308 as well. So all you have to do when you get ready to take a shot at a game animal, just flip it forward and you're right on the money. You just move your finger up and down. Or if you prefer to use your thumb, you can just flip it off. And if you want to do it quietly, just like that. But either way, I really like these safeties because you have no issues at all with scope clearance, and it works very well, you know. And I'm going to show you how to install one of those safeties on one of these Mauser shrouds in an upcoming video. This one here has the original safety on the back here. It works. I mean, it's okay, but it's not as positive functioning or as aesthetic as the Model 70 style side swing safety, because for a right-handed shooter, I mean, it's just right on the money there. This is okay, but it has a tendency to want to slip down. You know, if you jar the gun a little bit, it slips off of the safe position, whereas that right there will stay in the safe position. You know, whether you're carrying the rifle to your stand or if you're still hunting or whatever, you can rely on that safety to work positively every time. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll keep you updated on this little rifle in future videos, but for now I think I'm going to hang it up because it's getting a little bit late and I need to go eat dinner. So remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember this, hit that like button, smash that bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take good care of yourselves. Get out there and get your deer rifles ready now because the season will be approaching very soon. And also, while the fishing weather is still good, get out there and enjoy fishing, and if you can, take a kid fishing. So I'll see y'all next time.